We have got the wheel. Well, we got to get the WRX out of the garage today. Not today, but tomorrow. I want to get it running tonight though, which we can totally do. So, what is going on, my friends? That's Matt, and he likes bananas. So, as you guys just saw, we got the engine oil replaced in the car. Normally I change the engine oil around like 50 miles on a brand new motor. Did 100 on this one just because we had the STI in here. Not a huge deal. Also had to refill the transmission, reassemble the interior. Now it's time to start getting this thing fully put back together, get it on the ground. I also got the 4-port boost controller reinstalled back in there. I got my new one, got it rewired up, so it should be all good to go. So for the transmission, some of you guys were asking me what I was using for this one. I went with Josh's cocktail. Johnny recommended this also. I did 3 quarts of MT90 and then 1 quart of the lightweight shockproof in the transmission. I've never used it before. Normally I use different gear oils, so I'll let you guys know how I like it. A lot of people use it. I guess they call it the cocktail or something like that. So let's keep going on this. I'd like to get the front wheels put back on the car, but in order to do that, we need to get the sway bar put back onto the lower control arms and get everything else kind of retightened up down there. So let's go ahead and get the sway bar put back on, tighten it up, double check all the bolts are tight around the suspension components in the front. I need to punch down the axle nuts because we did put new axle nuts on there. So let's get this thing going. So now that we're back topside, what we need to do is replace this ground strap because Matt ripped mine out when we took the transmission out.
What?
You're right. I forgot to undo it, all right? I forgot to undo the ground strap. So I robbed Matt's off of his 6-speed back there. I bought him a new one so that way he'll have a fresh one for his transmission. We need to make sure all the pitch stop bracket bolts are tight. Make sure the pitch stop itself is tight. Hit up these bell housing bolts one more time. Feed down this transmission harness down to the back side of the car. These 2 cut wires are for my DC-CD controller, so we are gonna have to reconnect those up. And then just kind of make sure that everything up here is solid. Once we've done our checks up here, get everything put back together, we can go ahead and get the charge pipe put back in up here, get all the little stuff put in back up here, and then jump back underneath the car where we can do the downpipe and the rest of the small stuff. So I wanna get this thing going, running tonight, which can very well happen. So let's start taking care of that little area. We've got everything reassembled, the transmission back in. I don't trust starting this car while it's completely on the ground, so I'm gonna lift it up just enough where the wheels are off, so that way if for some reason this transmission rebuild didn't fully work and we start spinning, we at least won't go straight into the wall. Because that definitely would not be fun. Engine bay check, nothing in there. We will engage our 1 fuel pump because I still have 1 disconnected at the moment. I think everything else is pretty solid.
I hear something.
So do I. Under the, oh my God! Turn that off, turn that off, turn that off, turn that off, turn that off right now, turn that off right now. Where is that coming from? The car just leaked a lot of fuel.
I got it.
Where did that come from? Look, show that into the car. Like, that's a lot of gas.
Yeah, it is. Why'd you do it? Why would you do it again?
Is it coming out?
Yeah.
You son of a... It's on both sides. That's what I don't understand. What are you? Peter!
Yeah, I was like, I hear something. That doesn't sound normal.
Open flames, gas.
It's soaked. But from where? So we've got a massive, absolutely massive fuel leak under the car. We've determined that it's the dash 8 line, the feed going from the pump up top up there down to the fuel pressure, or the fuel filter over here. So I just ordered some new dash 8 line. It'll be here Wednesday. It'll be a quick fix, but it's still annoying. I kind of still want to start it. Just to check the trans, yeah? Start it? Start it?
No.
Start it? I'm joking. That would be extremely irresponsible and dangerous. I'm going to start it. As you guys saw last night, we had a massive fuel leak. We also had a big panic because we had the propane heater going with a lot of fuel coming out of the car. The only thing that makes sense for a fuel leak like that is there is a cut or a nick in that line, or it just didn't hold pressure for some reason. That may have been Amazon. That was some old Dash 8 line that I had sitting around. So luckily there's a somewhat local fabrication place close to us called Ace Race Parts. And they luckily had Dash 8 feed line with brand new Dash 8 fitting. So I got another 45, I got another straight fitting so we can remake this feed line. So I'm gonna hop under the car because I wanna get the WRX done. I wanna get the STI back in here, get the engine back in the STI because we need to get the transmission swapped in the Legacy tomorrow because next week we're going to get this car tuned. So we need to work out these last little problems with it. So let's go ahead, hop underneath the car, start removing this old Dash 8 feed line. It's not even old, but the last Dash 8 feed line. I want to try to find where the leak is coming from because it should not be spitting fuel. Like, it was a lot of fuel, so it's got to be like a big cut or something. I don't know. Let's try to find it. Fuel line is now swapped out. We did find a problem with the old fuel line. So the old fuel line that was in here is Evil Energy fuel line. Actually, let me grab this Vibrant stuff that we just picked up this morning. So this right here is Vibrant Dash 8 fuel line. It is more expensive, obviously, than Evil Energy. Evil Energy is the one that you snag off of Amazon. This is the Evil Energy line. So it doesn't look like much, but if you look at this line here, you're going to see a bulge right there. The line actually burst, and this was brand new Evil Energy fuel line. I've never had a problem with it in the past up until now. It's definitely squishy, and it shouldn't be. And you can definitely see a difference in how the hoses look with Vibrant being on the left and Evil Energy being on the right. So I used to recommend this stuff. Probably won't ever use it again. Their fittings, I'll still probably continue to use their fittings because I've never had a problem with them. But as for the physical AN line itself, Vibrant all the way. So the line is swapped out. Matt is up here in the engine bay. I'm gonna get this thing started. You gonna set base fuel pressure? Yeah, we're gonna reset base fuel pressure because with a leak in the line like that, it probably threw off fuel pressure, which is probably a factor of why this thing was running so rich. So let me get the camera set up right here and then we'll start this thing up. Here we go. This will be attempt number 2. The first attempt, we couldn't get it in any gear, so we tried bleeding the clutch and we're gonna hope for the best. So the clutch won't disengage, which means I think I've got to pull the motor back out. But before I do that.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yeah.
Clutch won't disengage. We adjusted the pedal, we bled the clutch. Am I pulling the motor to get to the clutch?
Yeah.
God damn it. Whatevs, I can get the motor out in a fucking hour. Well, let's get to taking an engine out. We got the engine out, we popped the clutch off. I swapped the clutch over to the ACT Mod Twin off of Blue, and It bolted on just fine, but I think the way that we put the transmission onto the engine underneath of the car may have misaligned something that was keeping the clutch engaged. So we fully disassembled the clutch, cleaned up all the hardware. We're gonna put it back on the flywheel, put the engine back in, get everything put back on so the car starts again. And at that point, hope it works, I guess. Like, is that just what we're shooting for here? Hope it works. If that doesn't work, then I don't know. I don't know at that point. I get a different clutch, I guess. Get a different car. If it doesn't work, I'm selling the hatch. Someone come buy it. All right, 3 hours later, we've pulled the motor, realigned the clutch, put the motor back in, put everything else back on it. The clutch feels good. We are holding fuel pressure. We're gonna start it here in a second and see if our problem is gone. If it's gone, perfect. If it's not gone, I'm selling the car, 10 bucks. Do you have faith this will work?
No comment.
All right, well.
No comment.
You're free to start it up. You want to blast the heat once it's running? What?
I just tried.
Did you put the signal switch on the starter?
Absolutely not.
Matt.
Because what did I say I would do?
You said you would do it from under the car.
Yep. Yep, and I didn't do that.
Okay, take 2. The starter wire is now plugged in. That's the second time doing that. It's alright. Those shouldn't spin anymore when we have the clutch pushed in. I just want it to work, man.
I'm scared.
Are you all the way down? Is it in gear? Is it not fixed? Is it really not fixed?
I'm not lying. It's not fucking fixed.
Well, we were supposed to have a dyno day for the WRX next week, and I don't know if that's going to happen. So, little backstory. I have the X clutch that we originally put on the WRX I have right here, and this is going on the white STI, this engine, because we decided to put the twin disc in this car because this is where Josh is going to push this thing. That clutch isn't going to be able to handle the power. So, we put the twin disc in. Blue, that's the clutch from Blue, and Blue saw a lot of heat on the dyno when it died. A catastrophic death. The back of the crankshaft had welded, like friction welded some material onto that flywheel. I smoothed it out. I checked flatness on the mating surface where it meets up to the crankshaft, but I never checked flatness on the actual disc area where the clutch discs grab onto the flywheel. And because of that, I think the flywheel's warped and it's always grabbing, because whenever the car is running, we cannot get into any gear, and the clutch is essentially, it's always engaged. The clutch will not disengage from the flywheel. Matt went underneath of the car while I was sitting in the car, and I was pushing the clutch pedal in to disengage the clutch, and every time I would do that, it had, what, you said a 16th inch?
If that.
Yeah.
I mean, you physically, I couldn't even see it with my eye. The only way I could tell is by putting a pick in between the 2 irons, which are like the separator plates in between the discs. And I could feel movement, but I couldn't see it.
You know, if we're being honest,
So
I was gonna reuse this clutch on Blue, and I'm really glad that I didn't. I would rather reuse it on this car, because this car we can tear apart quick.
yeah,
The EG we can't.
yeah. That would have sucked to have to tear Blue down.
Yeah, I know, right?
I would not have been as excited to do that.
No.
Once.
I mean,
maybe-
I'm not
maybe
excited
twice.
to keep tearing this apart either, but like
Yeah.
this is easy to tear apart. We can get the engine out in an hour. We can get it back in about an hour and a half. So on 3 hours for a clutch job by pulling the engine out. So I'm gonna try to get a clutch expedited. So we have a dyno day on Wednesday. We're gonna finish our break-in miles on the way to Josh. We can break in a brand new clutch on the way to Josh because it's like 400 miles, 450 miles over to him. But that sucks, man. I don't know if I'm gonna end it. I'm going back to the 04 STI. I can't even do anything with this car until we get a new clutch in for it. So it's gonna sit in timeout. It's your turn to sit in timeout. We're gonna be totally carless. We have, combined between Matt and I, we own 6 vehicles. One of them work. And it will not work as of tomorrow.
Are we doing that tomorrow?
I thought we were. That's why we were
I thought
rushing
you were
on
pulling-
this.
Aren't we pulling the white one in?
Bro, it'll take us 20 minutes to put that engine in.
Oh, we're not getting it. I thought
We're not getting it
together.
No, I don't have all the stuff. We're just getting the engine in, so that way over the next couple of days,
Okay.
while we're doing the 5 EAT swap and all of the automatics and the legacy.
You guys will actually have videos from me again.
We have to continue doing transmission stuff, which neither of us are excited for. Hopefully your swap goes better than mine.
I hope so.
Mine's been kind of a shit show.
Yeah, if mine messes up anywhere near as bad as this car has, I'm royally effed. So.
Both of us are taking the good old Subarus. I'm gonna end it here because my WRX is really, I want to push it off a cliff at the moment, so. On the bright side, let's look at the bright side though, Matt. We fixed a fuel leak. We fixed the big fuel leak that it had.
Dude, we've been working on these
Since
every
noon.
day for the past,
Yeah.
I feel like week.
Yeah.
Holy crap, dude.
So, that's where I'm gonna end it, you guys. If you liked the video with our failure of getting a clutch to work, go ahead, hit the like button. Hit your boys up. If you're not subscribed to our link, Matthias, right here. He's right, his YouTube's like somewhere right there. If you're not subscribed and you want to be to either one of us, one of these corners, no idea which one I'll put it in quite yet, but with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one, where I could be pushing this WRX off a cliff. So peace out, homies.